warned. Let me get the music up here. Let's see where we are. I'll tell you when we're streaming. Okay, ladies, everybody wave hello, wave hello, wave hello. There we go. See what a classy show it is? This is some intro music. We have our own little TikTok, separate from TikTok. Here we go. Okay, ready? Here we go. Dance with me, ladies. Oh, they're ready
Welcome to
take a
Read
look
My
at
Lips
this.
Radio, a lively hour of unscripted conversations with savvy creatives.
Come on, Julie, let me
Producer
see
and
some
host,
moves there.
aka
There you
Radio
go.
Red, asks novelists, artists, photographers, designers, comedians, actors, musicians, composers, screenwriters, directors, and technology innovators about their creative passion, inspirational muses, and how they create. Ooh, how those lips can talk. Now, here's aka Radio Red.
Thank you to the voice of Ryan Treasure, who's been getting me on the air all these years. I am AKA Radio Red, and there's no place in the world I would rather be on a Monday. What? It's 5:02 p.m. here on the East Coast, and it's going to be dark in 19 minutes. I've got all the shades and the blinds, but not the lights on yet. This is my special place in the world on Mondays called The Creativity Show. And then you heard the voiceover. I still go by the original name, Read My Lips, because that's what we're really doing. I have three very interesting panelists here today. And before I get started with a special gift for each of them, they're all smart, they're all savvy, they're all beautiful. And they're all, I think, very glad to be here because I'm thrilled to have them here. Ladies, I want you to put up your hands in the shape of the letter L. We didn't rehearse this. It's not a test, not a quiz. There we go. And on the count of three, at this speed, I want you to join me in saying, hello, L, L, L. Ready? One, two, three. Hello,
Hello,
L,
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 L.
L.
Jordan, I think they're tied for second place in terms of being all synchronized. That's pretty good. LLL is lovely, lanky Laura Legs, our most loyal listener. She's a little under the weather right now. She's recovering from an illness, but I spoke to her significant other, Charlie, the other day, and he said she's going to be coming home for Thanksgiving. So we always do a shout out to LLL. Been friends for about 20 years, and she listens when she can. And if she were able to listen tonight, she would write a little report for me, a little email, and she told me what Julie is going to said on the show, and Avonley, what you said and what Kristine said. But we'll just have to keep her in our thoughts. So there you go. So now, ladies, I have a gift for each of you, and when I call your name, just wave. I'm going to call it a few times, okay? So here we go. Welcome to the Creativity Show, where stories ignite. AKA Radio Red on her Scarlett Mic, leading. So bright. I put new lipstick on. The hooks of creativity take the stage today, where wonder and wisdom are lighting the way. Kristine Jensen, wave hello, author whose prairie-rooted stories soar. Julie H. Parker, memoirist transforming life's trials into healing lore. Avonley Lightstone, whose heart turns scars into strength forevermore. They share their journeys that spark creativity galore. With light and insight and laughter, imagination anew, we're having here a dazzling hour we're bringing to each of you out there in our listening and our viewing audience. Now here comes the gift. Kristine, you're up first. From South Dakota farmland where prairie winds roam free, Kristine learned early how bold a young girl's dreams could be. Bossy big sister with horses, debate, and 4-H pride. Her confidence grew strong on those long back road rides. At 18, she found film, words, and images entwined, a calling that lit up her fiercely creative mind. From PBS to Apple, from Adobe to HP, Kristine shaped stories for hundreds with insight and mastery. She co-wrote screenplays in a pub with a friend by her side, chasing magic in stories where truth and heart collide. Now back home in Oregon, I lived there for many years, Kristine's Wednesdays Club takes flight, proving prairie towns have drama, soul, and timeless human light. Kristine, I hope you enjoyed that.
I loved that. That was amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome. And now it's Julie H. Parker is next. Julie, I put the H in because you told me that's important to you. From Detroit's bright classrooms where her love of words began, Julie dreamed in French and stories no one else could plan. Middlebury shaped her voice, Paris deepened her art, while Peter held her love's true compass steady in his heart. Then a storm rose within as Julie's mind cried to be heard, yet she pushed on with courage, honoring family, vows, and word. Through journalism and teaching, through yoga's gentle flow, Julie helped others find the calm she was still learning to know. On a Vermont farm, Julie faced darkness, then she broke through with grace, a hero's journey, shining from her deepest inner place. She earned her master's, helped teens find truth where healing starts, and at 80, Julie began her memoir, a masterpiece of her heart. Julie?
Wow. I call
Okay,
the radio pretty wonderful.
there you go. And now it's Avonley's turn. On a Utah ranch with 14 siblings, life taught Avonley early on that strength can bloom in hardship and hope can rise at dawn. She fed animals, worked hard, learned grit in every chore, yet she carried wounds so heavy they pushed her to the door. Psychiatry called to her to heal, to understand, but Avonlea had to mend her own heart before offering others her hand. In nature's quiet music, in each bird's gentle song, she found a path to healing she had sought for far too long. Avonlea's book, Strength of Scars, turned suffering into power, helping victims claim their victory hour by hour by hour. And still her deepest dream is tender, brave, and wise, to find her family in India and smile with her kind eyes. Avonlea?
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. Thank you so much, Ren.
You're
What a
welcome. So let me
gift.
wrap this part up. So gather round where the cool vibes and the cool kids sway as we dive deep into creativity today. AKA Radio Red's energy is lighting the way. We hope to inspire you to live large, love life, and play. So, ladies, how'd I do? What'd you think?
You are amazing,
Amazing.
Red. Really, really
I
fast thinking, fast writing, and a poet. A
thank you.
rhymester, a
Thank
rhymester.
you. I rhymes. Yes, yes. I have to give credit to my collaborator named Sylvie. She's French, and we speak in French, and we send each other bisous, bisous. Those are kisses and kisses. And I'll tell you later who she really is, but she helps me. And that's why when I ask you for the prep for the show, not to send me your CV or your marketing pitch, send me your origin story. That's what I create with Sylvie. That's why I need your origins to be able to do this. So thank you for giving me all the wonderful facts and material to create these as my gift to you. That's an early Thanksgiving gift. So let's go around the table now. Kristine, I'm going to start with you. Is there anything I missed? Anything else you'd like to highlight,
Hmm.
spotlight, focus on? Is there something along the way you want to take? Remember, we're speaking in 2 to 3 minute sound bites here. I'm not clocking you. I love a stopwatch like they did at the publicity summit, but just keep in mind and tell me, is there anything else you'd like people to know about you? Kristine, I'm putting you on speaker view. Talk to me. Go ahead.
Okay. All
No
right.
pressure.
I think I forgot to mention to you that I am a flower freak. I heard from my parents that the very first word I ever said was fawa instead of saying mama or dada. I'm crazy for flowers. I'm an avid gardener, though I'm very much a trial and error kind of gardener. Um, I've grown up being surrounded by flowers. My grandmother loved flowers. I love nothing more than digging in the dirt and being able to see the beautiful blooms that come from it. And when I can't bring in flowers from my garden, I'm buying them at the grocery store because I have to have flowers around me. They're
That's
really my creative muse.
lovely. I used to buy lilies when I lived in Durham, North Carolina. They had lilies in at the supermarket, and every week when I went
Yeah.
for groceries, I bought a bunch of lilies. They were very inexpensive, and I had them, and the scent was just divine. It was like having perfume in my house. It was
Yes.
wonderful. I'm now in Tennessee, and they don't have flowers like that where I am right now. I haven't looked too closely, but they have these big bouquets, with birthday wishes on them and all that, and I'm not into that. So, but I have a lot of plants, so that has to make up for it. Thank you very much for that, Kristine. Do you have a favorite flower you love to grow and harvest?
Sunflowers
Sunflower.
for sure. They
I
they
see one
remind me
behind you.
they remind me of my prairie roots. And my grandfather actually had fields of sunflowers, and they feel like home. They're happy, they're tenacious, they make everything better.
There you go. And I see one in the vase or vase behind you on the
Yes.
the table there. And I see, I think, a
You
picture of a sunflower on the wall
yes,
behind you as well.
absolutely.
Kristine, that's called living your brand. Okay, there you go, lady. All right, let's go to Julie H. Parker. Julie, I'm going to put you on speaker view. Why don't you share your beautiful smile with everybody and tell us a little more about yourself? Welcome, Julie.
Well, I'm interested in Christine's love of sunflowers. I've just had a bouquet, and the last flower to die was a sunflower. They have very thick stems, and it was a lot of fun. It was broken, however, but I mended it with tape, and it perked up enough to last. And I noticed in your poem to Avonley, a mention of a bird. And I must say that if I have a symbolic friend, it is a bluebird. And it has played a very interesting role in my story because towards the end of our life, when I thought that I was pretty well healed from mental illness, it came back on me, and I was trying to get used to these long summers in Vermont where my husband Peter thought it was absolutely wonderful. This was the place he wanted to be, in the woods among the trees. And I found that I was a pretty social person and I was very lonesome for people. So I noticed as we arrived in June that there was a bluebird pair in our apple tree. And I thought, oh my gosh, if I can just attract bluebirds here, it will make all the difference. That's all I need. So it became this marvelous symbol for me. But bluebirds are very unpredictable. And at first, until they get used to your place and until you have enough boxes for them to make a choice for their female, they are going to come, sing a little bit, and wander off to somebody else's property. So Peter began to realize the way to get Julie to love Vermont is to attract bluebirds. So he became as involved in these bluebirds as I did, and his heart would be just as upset when the pair that we thought we had attracted, we put up more and more boxes, flew off. Finally, I got a decoy. And it was really quite interesting. It was a lovely wooden little bluebird, and it attracted a female. And she was indignant because it was a lovely bluebird, but it wouldn't react to her. So it couldn't sing, it couldn't do anything. Along came, since she hung around for a while, saying, "What's the matter with this bluebird? I think I'm fine. Why won't it respond?" Um, Along came a very dumpy young male that really had never had a nesting partner before, I think. And she had an attitude, but she had to accept this male. So this was the first bluebird pair we ever had, and it made a difference for me. All of a sudden, I began to realize, okay, they're going to have babies. They will come back next year, and maybe I will be able to begin to love Vermont as much as Peter does.
Julie,
It kind
that's
of
a
worked.
charming story. Have you written anything about this? Is it a short
I,
story or a poem? You got to write this
It's a little bit in my book, a little bit the way bluebirds played this role in trying to cement me to love Vermont the way Peter did.
It's absolutely what a charming story. And I have to tell you, about 6 months ago, I invested in something called a birdfy, Birdfy, and it's on a pole attached to, with two squirrel baffles underneath it. It's a Wi-Fi bird feeder that has a camera in it. And the app is on my phone, and I can see sometimes there are 50 to 100 birds a day. And the feeder has two glass little tubes like towers. I have to stand on my tiptoes. I buy the big bag of 15 pounds of birdseed and berries and all, and we use a little not a funnel. I use a little flower pot, and I have to tip up and pour it, and then they come all day long and they push each other out of the way to eat the food, but I can watch them on my app, and the app identifies the birds for
Oh,
me
fantastic.
and it
Fantastic.
records the videos. It was draining my phone, so I just look out the window now, but it's there and they're very popular. I can tell you where you can buy them on Amazon. Anyway, it's just delightful because I love birds too. I'm for the birds, people have told me. Thank you, Julie. That was just what a charming story. Thank you. And how sweet of the bluebirds and of Peter. Avonlea, you're up next. I'm delighted to have you here, and I'm putting you on speaker view so everybody can see that beautiful dress you're wearing. Is that
Yeah.
something ceremonial or is it just a dress? It's just gorgeous.
It's actually just a shirt.
Well, hello
Yeah.
there. Beautiful. I wish shirts
Thank
looked like
you.
that on me. I'm putting you on speaker view. Why don't you tell us a little more about yourself? Welcome, Avonlea.
Oh, thank you. Julie, that story is just so inspiring. I want to tell you maybe I really love birds, and this is something that I like to play with my kids. It's called Wingspan, and you have all these different birds from all different parts of the world, and you get to play them. And the cool thing about that particular game is you can get an app, and every time you play a bird, you can click the bird, and then it will tell you a little bit about that bird and makes the noise. So it just makes the board
The
game
sound of the
much more
song.
alive. Mm-hmm.
Great
Really
game.
Yeah.
interesting. Avonlea, tell us a little more about your book. We want to know a little bit more. Go ahead.
Oh, so yeah, that book, Strength of Scars, is just a little bit about what I went through, trying to save my mother from a house fire when I was 3 years old, and she didn't survive. My dad was drunk, passed out, and then he placed me up for adoption right after, and I get adopted into a home of like 14 adopted children, and my mom was abusive. And it was just really hard to try to gain her love. So, one of the things I like to do with my family is I like to support them in their curricular activity. My kids love volleyball. And so we travel around in their sports. And oh my gosh, it's something that I wish I would have had like a mom there to support me. But she never would support me on that. And so, like, watching my kids play sports, it's almost like, you know what? This is what I wanted like my mom to be like. I get to do this with my kids. I get to enjoy it, where she never got to have that enjoyment. And so, yeah, I just like to, like, family is such a big deal to me. And because I didn't get the nurture that I needed as a child, I make sure my kids are getting the love that they need, and going to sports activity is just a blessing for me, and seeing them grow, and also just doing fun activity. We love to spend time outdoors. Yeah, that's just like what I like to do. Spend
Very
time with
nice.
family.
Very nice. Good. And I'm glad you had the opportunity to write your book and share your story as well. So thank you all very, very much. I have a couple of things to say before we go to your prediction, not your prediction. I'm sorry, that's my other show. Before I go to the quotes you sent, but I just want to tell you we have a couple of announcements here. Today is the history in 1979 when a duet by Barbara Streisand and Donna Summer called No More Tears. I think you can all relate to that. Enough is enough. Remember, enough is enough is enough. I'm a disco kid, so I understand that. Became the first duet with two women to hit #1 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, November 24th, 1979. It was there for 2 weeks. It went to #1 for 4 weeks on the disco chart, and it became their fourth chart-topping single in the U.S. for each of them, and the final one before Donna Summer passed away. I thought you'd all get a kick out of that.
Mhm.
And Freddie Mercury, the lead singer of the band
Mhm.
Queen, was born today. Of course, he passed away in 1991. He was born today in 1946, and I have to tell you, there's a young man named Camiro Rush who is 16 years old, and he's celebrating his birthday today. And the only reason I'm sharing that with you is that he's on YouTube. He has 8 million subscribers and 6.7 billion views. I
Whoa.
said
Wow.
billion views. And he's a Canadian YouTube personality, and his channel is Famous Tube Kids KIDS in caps. He posts toy reviews and personal vlogs with his younger sisters, and they also star in their family channel, The Rush Fam. And one of his videos, Doc McStuffin's tummy ache checkup, had 10 million views. 10 million views. When I read these, I keep saying I'm in the wrong business. Today is National Sardines Day. I had to share that with you. So I do my HB2U show in the morning, and these are some of the leftover factoids. So I had to share that. Anybody like sardines here? Anybody
I was
into
I
worried that you were
do.
going to ask us about sardines because I looked it up too, realizing that every day in our on our calendar is something or other. And I realized that this is National Sardine Day. And I thought, oh my gosh, if Red wants to ask us about sardines, I'm
No,
going to
I'm
be
not going
hard
to
pressed.
ask you, but I have the whole history in my notes. I do a show called HB to You, Happy Birthday to You, and it's the birthdays and the celebration of music history, like what I just read you about Donna Summer and Barbara Streisand, and stars who were alive and past who were born on that day, and wacky holidays. And today is Sardines Day. Yes, so there we go. Thank you very much for that, Julie. I didn't realize you're an avid researcher, rabbit hole person like I am. So let's go to the quotes. Kristine, I'm starting with you, and you have picked a quote from another interesting lady in the music business. The song is Landslide by Stevie Nicks from the Fleetwood Mac album in 1975. And Stevie Nicks wrote it alone in 1973 in Aspen. She was staying in a friend's house in Colorado, looking out over the mountains. And Lindsey Buckingham was home in LA, and they were struggling financially and emotionally as well. And Stevie Nicks said, I was looking at the Rocky Mountains thinking, what the hell am I going to go do with my life? It was a turning point. She was 25 years old. Landslide is her private meditation on adulthood arriving too soon. I think some of us can identify with that. So here's the quote Kristine has picked from the song. But time makes you bolder, and the children get older. And I'm getting older too. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps, but I'm not going to cry. Okay, Kristine, how did you find this lyric, and what does this have to do with your own creativity? I'm putting you back on speaker view. We want to see you. Go ahead.
Sure. I mean, I've been a Stevie Nicks fan as long as I can remember because not only is she an amazing singer, but her lyrics, she is such a poet. So I've always been drawn to her. That particular quote for me has to do with going ahead and doing at any age what you have been putting off. Children are getting older. I'm getting older. Um, for me personally, two things happened. One is that I reconnected with my college sweetheart, which meant giving up the life that I had in California and moving to Oregon. It was a big, huge shift. I didn't know anybody, and in your 50s, it can be challenging to start over. Um, but the biggest thing it means for me creatively is when my grandmother passed away in 1998. I found all these amazing minutes from her Wednesday Club, a group that had started in 1927. And I found these like incredible books of minutes. I carried them back with me to California. I moved them twice. I moved them to Oregon. They sat in this really beautiful, pretty box, all covered up. And finally, after I'd been here a couple of years, I was like, wait a second, I was going to do something with those minutes. I was going to write something. And I got them out. I looked at them. They were amazing, but they weren't good enough to just publish on their own. But what they did do was to spark an idea for a novel. And it was an incredible turning point for me at a time when I thought writing a novel was like too big, too scary. I didn't have the talent to do that. But I was just inspired, children are getting older, you're getting older. Like, when are you going to do this if not now? So that was kind of the genesis for that and why I love that quote so much.
Thank you very much. That's a wonderful story about that. I appreciate it. Yeah, time is moving on. I'm still working on my novel, and I haven't been able to go near it for the past. I usually do it on Sundays. I haven't been able to touch it for the past 4 or 5 Sundays. I keep telling myself, and then I find something else to do, like researching for my shows in the following week. But over the holidays, I'm gonna have a lot of downtime, so
Yep.
that's I got to finish it. It's time. It's spitting around talking about it too much. So thank you very much, Kristine. Julie, I'm
You'll
going to
get
your.
there.
I know I will.
You'll get there.
Well, I have to birth it basically. It's at that last level. It's the last little bit of tweaks, and then I got to publish it. Okay, and it has I'm using a false name, a pseudonym, so I can't do interviews. I have a beautiful purple hat and very dark glasses with a little heart on them and rhinestones, and that's how I'm gonna have to with my new name, and I'm not telling you what it is, but maybe Brian. Okay, Julie H. Parker has picked a quote from Pogo, Walt Kelly's famous cartoon strip character. And I have to tell you, the quote first appeared in 1970. Walt Kelly used it on a poster, Julie, for Earth Day that year, making it one of the earliest pop culture statements, I'll tell you in a minute, with environmental responsibility. It has a parody of a famous military message. I'll read the quote in a second. It became Pogo's signature philosophical joke. The line entered the American vocabulary. We'll leave it at that. It's used in speeches and essays and op-eds and all that good stuff. The quote is, "We have seen the enemy and he is us." And the only thing I have to tell you, Julie, before we find out what this means to you, is that the singing group Poco was originally named Pogo. And when they realized they could face a lawsuit for using the name of Walt Kelly's comic strip, they changed the name of the band to Poco. It was in my research from one of my birthday shows about a week ago. I had to tell you that. It's in my notes. Tell Julie what I found out. So I did. Okay, so what does this have to do with your creativity? Julie, I'm putting you back on speaker view. Go ahead.
Christina was talking about the quote from her favorite music. I thought, I cannot even remember what quote I read from my favorite music. So I thought, panic, panic. I don't know what I'm going to say about this music. And it turns out I didn't pick a quote from music at all. I picked a quote from Pogo. Interesting that band switched its name from Pogo to Poco, which means little or small or
Yes.
diminutive, They had a lot
Yes.
of courage. At any rate, this quote, "We have seen the enemy and he is us," really speaks to my journey, because the little quote that I have at the beginning of my book is, "When I looked in the mirror, the mask of my enemy fell off." I was that enemy. And, this is what Pogo is really saying, that we've looked for the enemy everywhere. Sure, we're going to see this guy outside us somewhere, we're going to all ready for fight. But when the battle is internal, it is a real struggle. You are going to end up facing yourself and knowing yourself, if you've got the courage to do that. And the enemy within is very wily. These are parts of ourselves that were implanted in us in very early childhood. I'm thinking of Avonley and her journey, and how she had to probably develop all kinds of defense mechanisms to survive. And I did too, without being aware of it. But these get built into us, and they serve us, as a kid, but they do not serve us as an adult. They have to be rooted out. So they realize that we are on the trail when we begin to do an internal journey and look for the cause of our misfunction and what are these misconceptions from childhood that are getting in the way of us being able to function and be the mature adult that we want to be. They are going to be very clever and do everything they can to disguise themselves. So I found that in order to really identify this enemy, I had to become a sleuth. I had to become a detective and watch for little sayings that would slip out of me when I least suspected it. But I had the power of insight. All of us do, but some of us have more of it than other. And I think when you have a psychosis affecting you, it is going to develop the power of insight, because you are facing your own self. You do not have anything external to try to blame. The blame is all within me. So if I can't find out why this pattern keeps surfacing, I am going to have to struggle with it keep surfacing. So luckily, my insight and my power of sleuth discovered these little things that would slip out. And then I had to face the fact, Julie, this is not a pretty picture, but this is who you are in one place.
Thank you, Julie. That was, I want to say lovely, but I don't want to diminish what you were saying because it's very important. I will tell you that I belong to an online poetry group, and in November and April, we get a prompt every single day. It's called the PAD Poem a Day Challenge. Nobody's winning any contest. It's not a challenge, but we comment on each other's poetry. We post it on a site. And I recently started what I've been told a format I've been told is the IFS, which you may be familiar with, the internal family system. And I write a set of, it always has a punchline. I'm the class clown. I write funny poems. They don't rhyme, but they're conversations. And the line is me, myself, and I. Me, myself, and I. And I develop the scene. Maybe I'll read one to all of you before the end of the show. And it's me says something, and then myself says something, and I is always the one, I'm not going to say anything. I'm holding my tongue. I'm here if you need me. I'll be here next week. I'm done with you. And I is always the one who's holding back, but the me and myself are the ones who were having the conversation. And it's very, very funny. I did a really, so I'm the funny one. And people are starting to tell me when November is over and we're back to one prompt a week, it becomes a Wednesday group, except November and April when it's a daily group. People are saying, I'm going to miss your me, myself, and I poems. And I said, well, maybe I'll do a digest. I'll do a Friday, Monday, Wednesday, catching you up on what they thought all week. And people are really enjoying that. But it always has a funny punch. I'll see if I can read one. Thank you very much, Julie. I appreciate that. Let's go to Avonlea. And Avonlea picked a quote from Miss Stacy, played by an actress, a Canadian actress who shares the same last name as Avonlea. The actress is Marilyn Lightstone. This is from a Canadian 1985 made-for-TV film based on Lucy Maud Montgomery's 1908 classic novel, you all know, Anne of Green Gables. Okay. The quote I'm going to read is inspired by the novel, but phrased famously in this film, while L.M. Montgomery's book conveys the spirit of renewal. The exact wording comes from the beloved Canadian TV adaptation starring Megan Follows as Anne and Marilyn Lightstone as Miss Stacy. It captures the heart of Anne of Green Gables, and Shirley's worldview. She's imaginative, she's hopeful, she's dramatic, and she's deeply reflective. And Julie, I think you just mentioned being reflective yourself. The quote expresses her core philosophy, no matter how disastrous today may feel. And here's the quote: tomorrow is always fresh with no mistakes in it. That is deep. Okay, Avonlea, how did you find this quote? Go ahead, why don't you share with us? What does this mean to you?
So, this has a lot to do with my story. When you're in a very abusive environment as a child, you don't seem like you can be able to have like a say in your day because your day is wrapped around your family and your mom who was abusive, and they kind of help already plant this canvas for you. Well, as I was going through my healing process, I realized when I left my home, I realized I had a lot of traumatic problems and I needed to do a lot of healing. But what was holding me back is what had happened. And so this quote is always so inspiring to me because we have a choice. Every single day is just a new day. Nobody's tiptoed tomorrow. It's just completely blank, and we get to paint it. We get to tell the story, and we get to decide who you want in our painting. And that's just the mindset that I have is the canvas is just completely blank. You get to make what you get to be the artist of it, and you can invite who you want in it. You can have those beautiful sunflower like Kristine loves. It's just how you decide to have it, and that's just a motivation for me to keep going, and it's really healing.
That's lovely. We have sunflowers, we have bluebirds, and we
Hmm.
have tomorrows. Wow. We've painted a
Beautiful.
picture of, isn't that lovely? Look at how it all, and we've got me, myself, and I poems. I do have to read you one later. But anyway, yeah, I have a funny one from today. I'll read you. Thank you so much, the three of you, for picking such interesting quotes and for not just picking, oh, this is a famous quote, but they really mean something to you. I can tell. I don't always, very often, my guests, not always, but sometimes pick from famous movies or famous songs, and it's, yeah, that's really cool. But this was really, really very, very personal, and I appreciate that. So let's go to the part of the show. We're going to turn this into a real roundtable now. I'm going to read one or two of your creativity statements. You don't have to find them. I know you sent them a month or two ago, and it's all right. Don't worry, Kristine. I've got them here. I'm going to pick two from Kristine, and I'm going to use a bad word in one of Kristine's because she did. She probably go, what did I send her? Oh my goodness. I never
Oh, I
use
know.
I'll say it quietly. I'm going to combine two of them and ask you to expand it or unpack it. And then I'm going to see if Avonlea and or Julie have anything to say. Ladies, I won't push you to talk, but it would be nice if you could respond. Yeah, I know that, or nah, not me. Whatever you want to say. Okay, Kristine said the following in statement 1 and 2. I believe in the truth of Anne Lamott's shitty first draft. Just get it out. You can edit later. I don't think I've ever used that word on the show, but hey, Kristine, there's always a verse. And the second thing she says, I only write on a tablet with an attached keyboard. That keeps me off my laptop, which has too many other distractions like email and social media. That is, I don't think I've ever had a guest
Mm.
pinpoint it that specifically. So, Kristine, I'm putting you back on speaker view where I run the camera here, so it's up to me. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about what these both mean to you, and then we'll see if Julie, I can see those wheels spinning. Julie's thinking, what can I say? And Emily's thinking, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Okay, Kristine, just go ahead, talk for a minute or two, and then we'll go around the table, please.
Sure. So I think the first one, the shitty first draft, we all kind of know this. But for me, especially in writing a novel, there's always the temptation to like, wait, I can just go back to chapter one and make that a little bit better. But, we all know that we could keep editing and editing. My final novel was draft 12. So the important thing for me is get it out there, know it's going to be really sucky. Just, keep going, keep making the progress. Because especially with a novel, the momentum of all those words, it starts to build on itself. And then the second thing is, yeah, I really have to avoid my phone, my laptop. There are all these interruptions, the news, the email, social media. So I only use a tablet with Word. That's the only thing on there. I have a little attached keyboard and that's what I write on. And it really works for me because I'm not that great at keeping keeping away the distractions, but that one really works for me.
Thank you. Very, very interesting. I had not heard that from an author or any of my
Hmm.
creators before. Avonlea, Julie, anything you wanna, does this resonate with you? Julie, you
Yeah,
look like you're ready. Avonlea, go ahead. Go ahead.
I apologize.
No,
No, I
no.
agree with Kristine. Like with the drafting, sometimes we just want that perfection, and and we'll like focus hard on it, but really sometimes we just have to like let it go and move forward.
There you go.
And then like your tablet, I've never done that.
Yeah.
That's new.
That is new. That's interesting. Julie, anything you want to add?
I don't own a tablet, Kristine, but if it would help me break a bad habit of feeling I have got to answer my emails before I can sit down and write, I would grab a tablet. But I'm afraid that even if I had a tablet, I'd say, okay, first I got to go through all these emails and answer them and you can't, delete 90% of them. Um, I'm wondering if I could break that habit and say, this tablet is sacred here. I've got to sit down here first. It might work. I like the idea. I
You,
like the
you
idea.
can set it up any way you want. I have to tell you all, I've attended a lot of author, teacher, instructor types of people who have workshops and webinars, and they're all selling something, which is fine. Everybody's got to make a living. But one of them was she was talking about how she carries her phone on the memo or the speaker, the recording app. and she keeps it with her. And one day she was walking around her kitchen, not doing anything. I guess the phone was in a pocket or on a counter, and she dictated an entire chapter of her next book. And her thing is that you can speak instead of writing. You can actually speak your way through. Avonley's nodding, yes. You can speak your way through your writing. The tricky part was on the webinar I attended, she never gave us the details of how she sets it up. And people were saying, well, if you're speaking low or if you have an accent, do you train it for your voice? And what about punctuation? Where do you say comma, semicolon, which would interrupt the flow of the ideas? But I thought it was an interesting idea. I haven't tried that. I've recorded people snoring sometimes, but I've never done anything like that. Kristine, you want to bail me out here? Anything you want to say about that?
I know another writer who does that, and she uses her hour-long walks as just like a stream of consciousness. And I know there's a bunch of different voice recognition software out there where you can
Yep.
take those voice memos and they'll put something like into Word. You still have a lot of cleanup to do, but
Yeah.
for some people, I think it really works that you don't censor yourself maybe when you're speaking. You
Yeah.
you just talk.
You just talk. Interesting. I thought I would introduce Avonley quickly. Anything you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I actually do that. I use this app called Telegram. It's just another like chat, and I just um do like a voice over and just spill a lot of my stuff that's coming into my mind because it's easier to like talk it through than typing it because then I kind of forget a lot of the times like what was that amazing thing that I was thinking about. So I will hurry and record myself and then I'll have like a transcription and to transcribe it into Word and then I can go back and I could see like what it is that I was trying to say and it's easier for me to add on to it.
That's really cool. Julie, do you think you would ever do that?
I'm wondering about that. I'm thinking
Yeah.
that some of my best solutions to a problem when I'm wondering how to say something happen as I'm trying to wake up, or sometimes even in the middle of the night. The
Mm-hmm.
problem is with me getting up and turning on a light is it wakes up my husband and he wants to know where's she wandering around. Poor Peter has a terrible time with my ideas. He likes it when I'm sick because he knows where I am and he can kind of control
Oh, you
it.
didn't say that. You did. I'm gonna move on, Julie, because I think you just stole the thunder of some of the statements I was going to read for you. So let me move on. Thank you very much, Kristine. That was great. Julie says, I'm reading your statement number 2 and number 4. Julie says, my most creative period is when I first wake up. How to say it seems to emerge from a tangle. Interesting. And then Julie says, I love Karen Blixen's Out of Africa. Her simple opening sentence has always moved me deeply. And then you go on. Big band music to take me to a place only music can. Nostalgia, longing, sadness, like Rachmaninoff's Piano Concerto Number 2. I love bluebirds nesting in our boxes, which you already told us. Their arrival makes my heart soar. Their absence sinks it. So these are some of the sensory experiences you have. Anything you want to pick out of that and tell us a little more about your creativity, Julie? And we'll go around the table. I'm looking at the clock. We have a little more time. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking about music and how it does open up a part of me, a longing, a nostalgia that I miss, that I'm usually not in touch with at all. But when I hear Rachmaninoff or when I hear big band music, it takes me back to a young Julie that was open and innocent and full of all kinds of emotions that I think perhaps if I lost anything during the healing period from mental illness, it was this beautiful sensitivity and response to that can draw you into anything that attracts you. And of course, that can take you into some dangerous territories at
Yeah.
times. But but music is a way I can do it and enjoy it and know that it is not going to take me into dangerous territory. I can turn the music off.
There you go. There you go. Thank you for that. Kristine or Avonlea, anything you want to say back to Julie? Anything resonates with you? What do you think? Music, Avonlea?
Yeah,
You like
I do like music. Being able to like listen to music and like what Julie says, it takes you back. It's almost like nostalgia. you're like escaping the busy life that we're living right now. And it's just more calming and you can just enjoy those moments that we don't have now.
Pick the right music. Christine's nodding. Yes? Thoughts?
I loved what Julie said about waking up and finding some idea or finding something. I might be paraphrasing you wrong, but this idea that the tangle of everything that's happening in our minds during the evening, and then it's like our brains keep processing this, and then when we wake up, I can't tell you the number of times that I've had the answer to a creative problem that I have been struggling with. Same thing happens when you listen to music, I dig in the dirt, I'm gardening and, pulling up weeds, and suddenly, oh, that's it. That's what the character should do next. So I love the way our brain solves creative problems, usually when we're not trying.
When we're
I
not trying, exactly.
I agree. Those are those moments, those bursts of creative thought. But I agree with you that our minds are always working. They're always churning. Sometimes we think they're peaceful, but I think that's when they're planning and plotting something different.
That's
So,
true.
Julie, anything briefly you want to add? I want to go on to Avonlea statements. Anything you'd like to add? Are you good?
Go ahead.
Okay. So, Avonlea, I'm combining three of yours. Avonlea says, rather than listening to music, a lot of my inspiration comes from quiet time. A lot of my creativity comes at wee hours of the morning and looking through interior and digital designs. And she said, I enjoy reading inspirational books that keep me motivated and help improve my life. So let's go to the quiet time. How is that helping your creativity, Avonlea? What do you
I
do?
think you don't get like any distraction and I don't know, like just when things are like when I wrote my book, I had to be in like a space where nobody can distract me. And as soon as I start typing, things just starts flowing. And I can't do that when there's too much noise or distraction. It's just my alone time, and a lot of inspiration comes from that.
Very, very cool. Thank you very much. Anybody have a comment for Avonlea? I'm going to go back to gallery view so we can see all of you.
I was just thinking,
Heavenly, go ahead, Julie.
Julie, you go.
I was just thinking, Avonlea, of what you're saying. Men have always had the advantage. The wife can be taking care of the kids. They can get this marvelous quiet. We have to struggle with a family, with all kinds of interruptions, with a schedule, with people depending upon us. So I think it's much harder for us to find just what you're saying. And maybe it is in the middle of the night, or I think my feeling is I shouldn't be doing this, whereas somebody whose whole life and career and salary is depending upon one book after another, it's a little bit different. My books have never brought me any money, and that, for that reason, they are not a career. And therefore, I feel that I have to kind of squeeze in my time to write between other things that don't distract the family.
I'll tell you all
I'm
briefly that
curious.
go ahead. Go ahead,
I'm
Christine, then I'll tell you
curious,
about you.
Avonlea, where do you find that quiet time? How do you carve that out for yourself?
Oh, that's a great question. A lot of times it's when I'm sleeping and I wake up randomly, like just my body just wakes up at like 2 or 3 in the morning with an idea. And I've noticed if I don't pay attention to the ideas or jot it down, then the next morning, like I forget, I don't know what it is. So
Mhm.
I will like get up, go to where I need to. Like I have to be really quiet because my husband also will be like, "Where are you going?" And so yeah, no, it's just usually early in the morning.
Early in the morning. I want to share with you all that about 8 years ago, I decided one day I wanted to write a romantic comedy play, and I had no idea what to do. And I just had a feeling. I typically get an idea. I have five different series. I still call these radio shows, but I have five series where I just wake up, say, I'm going to start a new one, and I just do. Nobody tells me what to do because I'm on my own. There you go. So I went online and I Googled, how do you write a play? And I found a document. It was a free download. It was a Word document. It was Playwriting 101. It told me how to set up the scene, how to say curtain up, curtain down, what the font would be, what the leading between the lines would be. How do you briefly describe a character, how they look, how they talk, what their style is. And I started writing. I was working a full-time job. I think I was marketing for a big bank in New York at some point. And you know what? I wrote that in 3 nights from 1 to 4 in the morning. In 3 nights, I finished writing it. And you know how? The characters just used me as their channel. They told me what to write. They told me what they look like, what they talk like, what they ate, what their habits were, what their style was. Julie, they just came right through me. And I said to myself, what am I going to do with this now? So I had a TV show, a cable TV show on Long Island, and I had friends who were in community theater. And I said, I'll make you a deal. I will put a teleprompter in front of you. We will put a green screen up. You'll sit on chairs in an empty studio. We'll put the video of the background. It was taking place, two people meeting from a dating site where they had to wear funny Groucho glasses and noses, and they had numbers instead of names. Hello, I'm ABW 94.73. Are you? And I actually had, and I said to the actors, you won't have to memorize a thing. Just learn. I'll coach you, and you'll just be able to glance at the teleprompter. So for each of the 4 actors, I had a teleprompter set up, and we produced the play in my studio. I directed, I coached them, I helped them with their lines. They were all experienced actors, but they were busy with other things. They had jobs, they were doing other community theater. And then I had to edit it down to 26 minutes. And my mom, who was in her 90s at the time, was a piano player, and she composed this little ditty for us for the beginning. And I recorded it on my phone, Julie. Mom was about 97 at the time. And I played that, and that was the intro music under the opening credits. And my friend George, who just passed away a few weeks ago, was my director, and he was my editor. And we sat up till 5 in the morning at his house one night, and we edited it down to 26 minutes for my 30-minute time slot. And that
Where
was
is it? How can we hear it?
I will send you. I recorded it, and I have it on my my Vimeo channel. I'll be happy to send you the link. It's called Hail Hail. And I did, there was more actors than I needed. And so we did 2 versions. And the woman wore a blonde wig in the second one, so she couldn't be recognized. It was a lot of fun. Anyway, I want to thank the 3 of you. We have just about 4 minutes left, but would you like me to read the poem I wrote today, the Me, Myself, and I? Would you like to hear this? So
Absolutely.
the prompt today was, today's prompt, pick a living creature and write a poem. This is directly from the moderator, Robert Lee Brewer, who's a senior editor at Writer's Digest. Your living creature could be human, but also something as big as a blue whale or as small as a nanoarchaeum equitans. I have no idea what that is. It could be a monster, it could be a dragon, it could be anything. So I wrote this, a little more conversation, and the subtitle is Flyover, just between us. So here we go. Me. Tell me where you are, please. Myself. Hugging myself. Hope he comes home soon. I told you this might happen someday. Me, please give me a sign. Myself, my heart is racing. I'm holding my tongue. Me, maybe he's just around the corner. Myself, my fears are real. I'm trying to think rationally. Me, the neighbors are helping me search. Myself, my friends are looking too. If only you hadn't left that door open. Me, woo, he's calling me. Myself, about time, jangled my nerves. I hope he doesn't fly the coop again. Me, Tweety, you came back to me. Myself, my dear one, please don't do that again. And I finishes up with, if this had gone south, next time I'd get a turtle instead of a parakeet.
You reveal what it is.
And it's based on a true story because Tweety, our parakeet, was sitting for 2 hours above the living room curtains in my draperies in my house when I was growing up. And my mom and dad and I and my sister were working with the neighbors, walking around the part of the block outside, looking everywhere. And Tweety was sitting right there on top of the curtain rod, watching us for 2 damn hours. This happened, I can't tell you how many decades ago. But when they said, write a living creature poem, Tweety came to mind. Julie, did you like that?
I love your observer. Your eye is definitely the observer. The observer plays a very important role.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I want to read you a couple quotes. Oh, wait a minute. We got 1 minute left. So, ladies, I'm just going to read you the closing and stick around. We'll talk a little bit after. And I have a quick acrostic I wrote in 2024 for you. It's called Night Shift, NIGHTSHIFT. Never quite really at rest. It's the life of a creative. Going, gripping, gyrating, growling, groaning, growing, highs and lows, flowing on a mental Mobius strip. The days or the nights or the days again, shifting off and on, into and out of gear, hoping for unique brilliance even once. It's a calling, command, curse, roller coaster, finding eureka, euphoria amid frustration, fears. Thus is the life of the creative. I dedicate that.
Amen.
I dedicate that to all of you. And now I'm going to do my real closing
Love
because
it.
Jordan needs to close us out. So in 2014, I closed with the top 10 tips of women on all my shows. And they all came to be true, I think. And the number one from 2014 was aspire to be Barbie. The biatch has everything. See, I said a bad word, Kristine. And here's the final closing. Listen up. Life is short. Break the rules. Forgive quickly. I'm still trying to figure that one out. Kiss slowly. Oh, yeah. Love truly. Laugh uncontrollably. Ladies, join me in a quick laugh. Don't hurt yourself. And never regret anything that made you smile. Final words. Work like you don't need the money. Dance like no one's watching. When I taught disco in high heels in a high school cafeteria with 250 students, I made them build me a stage because everybody watched and thought I'd fall off the cafeteria table. It was terrible, but I had a good time. Sing, and I never fell. Sing like nobody's listening. Love like you've never been hurt. We all have, haven't we, ladies? Let your heart regrow, come back, open up, and love again. Money talks, chocolate sings, la. And last but not least, thank you for turning me on. I stole that line from somebody else, and let me play the closing here and make sure I've got the audio up. Do I have the audio up? 1 second. Yes, we do. Here we go.
On Read My Lips
Okay.
Radio, producer and
Answer
host,
me.
aka Radio Red, invites you to eavesdrop on her live, unscripted conversations with smart, savvy, creative people
That's
as
you.
she discovers what makes them tick, where they find their inspiration, when creativity first became their passion, and how their creative process can inspire the rest of us to
That's
think
right.
out of the box. Enjoy aka Radio Red's always lively, cool conversations with creatives. Oh, how those lips can talk.
Okay, ladies, I want you
Read
to.
My
All
Lips
right,
Radio.
all right, Ryan, you got to be quiet now. I want all of you to wait.